So good day everyone and welcome to the Career Playbook. My name is Chimarinus Tokoli and I wear many hats as it were. And this whole series is based off of the premise and the harsh reality that a lot of us who are adults and a lot of us who are already living our lives would have been able to gain more mileage if we had the right conversations, right, when we're younger, especially the secondary school age, that secondary school bracket, just one to just three, as it were, or just one. But beyond even that, the quality of the conversations that we have should be valuable to anyone, even when you are done. I don't care if you are 60, if you are 80, if you are 14, if you are in something, so you are in university, you are done with university, you are serving, you are a mid career professional, you are an early career professional, you are even a late career professional. I believe the bulk of the conversations that we are having in this series will be something that would actually make you to pause and think again about how far you have come. For some of us, we figure out the places where we got the best of guidance and things we would have done earlier. And this is also very interesting for me because it also feeds back to my career as well. I should have been doing this earlier. Looking back, the bulk of my power is in my mouth, my mind, my brain, and my mouth. Right, I should have been able to do that without earlier. But still, it took me a long time before I'm giving taking impact and giving to actually communicating and speaking and helping people across generations to actually tie together pieces of development and solve developmental problems. So today with me on this our very inaugural episode is someone who I would love to introduce himself and pick it up from there.
All right, thank you very much, Chima. It's a pleasure to be here today. And since I don't know how much I can be able to do, let me just mention my name and what I currently do. Maybe in the course of our conversation, we can get into other details. So, my name is Oluwaseyi Ige, and currently I'm a media consultant and also a missionary based in Abuja, Nigeria.
Okay, that's great. I would love to ask a very important question because this is one thing that a lot of people in Nigeria or Africa as well would have to ask. We don't have the blue collar, we don't have effective pathways, right, in the blue collar industry. So the bulk of all of us happen to have gotten some form of education here or there. So what did you study?
Okay, I studied microbiology in
Sorry. You study microbiology and you are a media consultant and missionary. Have you ever practiced microbiology?
I think the last time I did anything that was related to microbiology was the day I finished my project in the laboratory, and since that day, I don't think I've entered any laboratory to do any scientific experiment or to do anything in the line of looking for microorganisms and how they affect how we live as humans. So I've never practiced that.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. Now, I want us to go back to your primary secondary school. Were there, I'm trying my best to be as honest as possible because some of we had a few conversations today and I know some things, but I love to be as curious as some of the people who are going to be listening to this for the first time and who do not know you, right? In person. So points, were there flashes of God, or for even people who perhaps not believe in God, the universe or providence basically pointing you towards what you are currently doing, that looking back now you are like, oh okay, this has always been there, but maybe it wasn't fashionable, it wasn't quote and unquote a professional course or something. I will give an example of myself. When I was in year 3 SS1, yeah, I was a hothead as we were in junior secondary school. So I knew mathematics way beyond my age and all of those things. And so they told me, everybody expects that you're a science student.
Of course.
Then they not even said stuff around engineering. But me, I knew that I couldn't draw to save my life. No matter how many rulers and gadgets you give me, instruments you give me, I will not be able to draw a straight line. And so I knew engineering had to do with a lot of drawing. When they asked me what you want to do, I thought they were not engineer because it sounded
Yeah.
sophisticated. But I knew somewhere in my heart that that drawing thing was going to mess you up, right? I remember telling my dad something about theater, and my dad made a very important statement, which he repeated when I was done with SSC again, and I was on the High School Musical project by Disney. Shout out to Disney, by the way. He said, "How will I explain?" So I told him that I wanted to submit my theater as a very serious career path, which would have actually set me up greatly. Uh, and he made a very important statement. He said that how would he explain to it in the village that his first son is going up and down, singing and dancing? It is. I didn't know how much that particular statement had affected me until like maybe 4 or 5 years after graduating from university, and I began to actually use it. I had always been in search of purpose, but when I began to review some of the things, why am I not taking this type of risk? Okay, you have a diploma in theater. Why not doing this? Why not doing that? I just figured out, and even up until tomorrow, that particular statement had had influenced the way I saw what I was going to do. But while I was little, I used to sing in the choir, I used to act, I used to dance, cultural dance. I used to also do big dancing. I mean, it was just like a natural thing, fish in water for me. But theater arts and artistic performance was not, quote unquote, professional enough for my dad, and his first son cannot it cannot be here. They also used to hammer it in my ear when I was younger that in my village what they know us for, they don't know us for trading, they don't know us for any of those typical things that Igbo people are known for. They just know you for books. So in my village, everybody was known for books, your ability to what you studied and all of those things. That was the social metric. So back to asking you, were there pointers that you actually used while you were younger?
I mean, there were many, just like you. I didn't really see them until much later. I mean, I only saw them in my 30s, when I was already much in the media world. And some of them are, first, I love to read. I'm an avid reader. I can boldly say I know a lot about America, more than many Americans, and I've never set my foot on American soil. And I got all of that information from reading. I love to read. I'm never bored with books. I read any kind of book, newspaper, novels, National Geographic. I mean, I read Atlas and anything book. Just bring it. Once it's written in, especially English language, don't worry, I'll read. And that has been with me since I was young. I also love to write. I'll give you two examples. I remember that as far back as when I was in primary 3, I used to write letters to my uncle, my father's brother. I mean, normal chat and all of that. But I remember I used to write these letters. I don't know if they ever got to him, but I remember I do. And I remember that much later, okay, this happened much later actually. When I was in the university, there was this lady who was my fellowship member, and she was a year my junior in school, so she is reading English language. And one of the assignments they gave them was to write poems. I don't know whatever course they were doing. And so I don't know what made her walk up to me and say, "Can I help out to come up with a couple of poems for her?" And in 2 days, I wrote 12 poems. 12. Yes, in 2 days.
In 2 days, you wrote 12 as a microbiologist.
As a microbiologist.
Yeah.
And none of those 12 were the same. They were different styles, using different, all these metrics they used to Mayo, whatever. I don't know the lingo.
Poetic devices.
Poetic devices. Thank you. So, and those were just some signs. But before that, I also have been someone that loved the arts. I love movies, I love TV, I love radio. I mean, that radio especially, because growing up, in my early years, my dad has this radio. That's a shortwave channel, medium wave. There were no FMs like this then. So I love to tune the radio. I just love the noise that comes out of the radio. And then by the time you now jam the channel and the thing stays on that channel, oh, it's like heaven to me. So from there, I started listening to BBC. Half of the time, I do not understand what they are saying. I listen to Radio Nigeria a lot, the 4 o'clock news in the afternoon, and sometimes mostly the 4 o'clock, because the 7 a.m. I may not really be in the best place to listen. But I remember the 4 o'clock, I know the sick tune, I know how they start, I know how they end. And then when I was in my secondary school, that was when I got introduced to Voice of America. Sonny Young, VOA does this sports in the evening, 9 p.m. every day on VOA, on AM. So I have an house master in the school where I attended.
What's the name of the school?
Okay, okay. Shout out to Unity Secondary School, Ikere Ekiti, and class of '96.
I hope to shoot a documentary out of some of these things and go to some of these places in real time and just show. The bulk of people that are listening to all these things, that this is where they are talking about.
Of course. So that man's name is Mr. Fagba Migbe. So in his house he has this big deck, and the wife also loves to listen to radio, so she listens to the VOA also. So definitely 9 p.m. I will be somewhere hanging around his house to listen to Sonny Young on VOA.
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
How far was his house from your house?
No, it's like it's very close, like less than 20 meters to my hostel. It's like our hostel block, the next block is his own house. He's the closest teacher to us. He's our house master, so we practically lived in the same environment. So that really, I just loved radio. And then sometimes I had the opportunity to see the insights of a radio station for the first time. One day I was there's a farm. My father is actually an avid farmer. He used to be a civil servant, but I think he does more farming than civil service work. So we go to the farm, and during those years in my secondary school, there was this radio station. It's called OSRC, and then they have this AM service in a place called Irese in Akure in Ondo State. So it's on the path towards our farm. Definitely, they have water. So when we are coming back from the farm, sometimes we drink water, wash, and all of that. So there was a particular day we were there, and maybe because of the familiarity, the people they already know us like this, we were allowed to actually enter into the building and then enter into the studio. Though it was a relay station, of course I knew that later, but they just had a console, had a studio. There were no presenters.
There was a relay station.
The relay station is that the program is originated from somewhere else, and then you pick the signals from the relay station. At the relay station, then boost it so that it can get to a wider audience. So it wasn't their main
they were not a
studio.
production.
Yeah, they don't really do much there. But I saw the gadgets and I was like, wow, so this is where all this magic happens. So that was somewhere in my head. And then along the line, television I began to pick interest in television. And up to the point that there was this program they had on then OSR, the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation TV. It's called Ogbonri. It's like a quiz program. They ask you questions. If you can get 3 questions correctly, you win a fantastic prize.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Kind of thing, yeah.
But for young,
not young, it's for the general public.
Oh, so you could be young, you could be old.
You could be young, you could be old. But before you could be on the program, you have to come be a part of the audience. Kind of pick you at random if you answer a random question and all of that. So,
okay.
But I went there, and then there was a question asked. The person on the seat did not get the question. I raised my hand. The presenter picked me. I got that question right, so I was invited to come to the hot seat. That's the procedure.
Whoa.
So I got there, got 2 out of 3 questions right. I didn't get the 3rd question. Of course, I can't forget the question and the answer to the question.
The one that you did not get. The one that you did not
yes,
get.
I can't remember the ones I got.
Okay, but you remember the one you did not get. That means it's true what they say. So our next time we learn more from our failures.
Yes, that's true. So
so what was the question?
Don't let me go there.
That was when you were way younger.
Don't let me go there. I was very young. I was in secondary. I think I was in JSS 3 or 1. I can't remember, but I know I was still much. I think just JSS1 could be around that time. So I got, I didn't win the ultimate prize, but then it was a lantern they gave me, a kerosene lantern. Of course, I took it to school. I didn't know that some of my classmates also watched that program. And when I got to school, everybody was shouting lantern, lantern, lantern. I was like, what's lantern? Immediately my head clicked. So, of course, the studio was amazing. Like inside the studio, tall, high walls, the wall was well padded. It was a dead room. Of course, I didn't know it was called a dead room then. But I know if you speak, hardly would the person at the other end of the room hear you. That was how much acoustics that was in that room. So from there, I kept going to the TV station. Of course, I developed a relationship with that particular presenter. So occasionally I go there, just see what they are doing, just soaking in that environment. But the one that really, really pointed me to the fact that I was supposed to be doing this thing from day one was that I remember clearly when we were growing up, people love to buy things. I don't save up to buy things. I save up to buy cameras. We have these small cameras that uses film. You snap it, you go develop the film, and then I love to just take pictures. So any money I have, it's either I buy camera or I buy film, and I'm taking pictures and I'm developing them developing the film. Most times I don't even print the photos out because of course I don't have money. But I'm just happy that I can take pictures and I can develop the film and see the film and hold it like those professional photographers are doing. So that was my hobby. Any money I have, I would trek to where they're buying film. It used to be 36 exposures with 2 extra in the front, maybe 1 extra at the back. So already I know how to develop films. I know all of those things. But the one that really, really kicked in when I was around 35, 36 in my memory, that really brought me back to what I'm doing, being what I'm supposed to do, was I remember then that also there's this wireless FM microphones that people buy. They use it in churches, just connect to any FM receiver. Then you could just tune that's your microphone to that receiver and serve as your public address system. Okay. But I buy mine and I'll just use my dad's radio, tune to the FM. I'll be speaking to the mic as if a radio presenter is talking, play a cassette, and then later I felt people are not hearing me, only people in my household. How about our neighbors? So I ran a wire from that microphone.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, all the way to the roof, to the iron sheet on our roof. Yeah, I climbed up, I did all of that so that iron sheet will serve as my antenna to distribute the signals. Of course, I don't know the details of the physics behind it, but I just know if I get this wire longer, more people will receive my signals. So I will now go to the houses of our neighbors on our street, knock their door, tune their radios to my channel.
Oh, like you didn't even you have to go inside.
They won't know who is talking. They don't know if anything is happening. That was I think this was immediately. No, I think I was still in secondary school, towards the end of my secondary school. That was when I was doing all of these shenanigans. So I go there to their houses, help them tune, and start speaking. I mention their name.
They listen to it. They gave you feedback.
Of course.
Oh my God.
Of course. But a particular woman, she was the wife of a theater person. His name is Taiwo. It's Kende Fabusola. He's a popular theater man. Okay. He's late now. Kende Fabusola was amen. Our neighbor, he lives opposite us. So the wife was one that told me that you could actually market these skills, like these things. People can pay you for it, you advertise for them. But it made no meaning to me because, of course, I'm just doing this for fun. I just love to hear myself speak and all of that. But that was how those were the things that later came to me as pointers that I didn't notice that were actually nudging me in the direction of course, after merry-go-rounding, I still ended up in the media eventually.
Wow, that is so people actually heard you. So you even unofficially produced radio shows before.
Unofficially owned my own channel, produced my own shows, presented my own shows.
Oh my God.
So it's
oh my God. And that's why when I actually really talk to young people, and oh my God, this whole thing that we're talking about, technology and all of that, there are lots of disadvantages to it. But how many young people today, when they can have even YouTube channels and all those, how many of them are thinking of producing? I'm not saying that everybody must go the media route, but I mean the whole in inventiveness of running a wire up to your own roof
Yeah.
and getting. I was going to ask if you got if anybody gave you feedback. That's if you were just on your own and someone said that, I heard you on radio. I didn't know that you even go ahead to go to the people's houses and knock and set their radio. Ooh! And in doing all of this, I mean, so let's talk about guidance. Your career choice. Why did you choose microbiology?
Okay, so I think I was trying to become a doctor. And
what type of doctor?
A medical doctor.
Okay.
And you know, of course, I ended up in science class.
Of doctors now.
Yeah.
We have small doctors.
And we have native doctors.
Now all manner of doctors.
Actually,
so let's know.
Do I really want to become a medical doctor? I'm not sure.
So that was what was sold.
But that was what was sold. That was what was popular. I was in science class, so you really need to be a doctor to be in science class. And of course, biology was a walk in the park. I mean, I love reading and anything reading, I love it. But I struggled with calculations. Really struggled. Of course, mathematics was still a bit bearable. But you see that physics, that guy was a whole lot. And I mean, of course, I'm not actually putting all the blame on this, but I think this played a part. I didn't resume SS1 with my mates. I had an accident after my GSS3 exam at home, waiting for resumption. So I had an injury on my leg, so I couldn't walk. I had to go to hospital, hospital visits and all of that. So I stayed at home for almost the whole of first term. So by the time I resumed for first term, we're close to writing exams. So I mean, of course, physics, if you don't really get a grip of it from the scratch, you'll just be struggling. So it really was that bad. But of course, that wasn't an excuse. I had opportunity to really pick up IFAD because I picked in other subjects. But so when I got SS3, I of course wrote why the physics was bad. I had a few other papers, but the C's that were chemistry, and then my physics was bad. So of course we are not going anywhere. You want to be a doctor, you don't have chemistry, you don't have physics. So I wrote the following year. I had all my papers. I failed physics. I wrote a GCE. I still had P7 in physics, and then I wrote Y again the third year. It was worse than the other years. It has been P7, all this one. This one was P8. No, I think I actually have it. Okay. It was P8, and I had other papers. So definitely, I was distraught. Not because I really knew what it meant, but I was tired of writing. These guys were in SS1 when I was in SS3. We're now sitting down together writing the same exam. It was pissing me off. Of course, not in my school, in another school. But after that, so we now had that there's a program called a pre-degree program where you could, if you have deficiency in a subject, you could come in. If you pass that subject during that program, you will be granted admission. Of course, I put in for a pre-degree program, got admitted. But it was during the course of the program we now got to know that even if you pass the subject in pre-degree, if you don't have it in SSC, you must still pass in SSC. So at that point, I didn't register for SSC again. I just felt like, okay, whatever course I can read with whatever I get from my pre-degree, I'm fine. So by the time the admissions was being processed, I put in for computer science. This was the early days when computers were becoming popular. So I'd already developed interest in computers. And then I wanted to read computer science. Thank God I didn't read computer science.
Why?
Because computer science is actually mathematics disguised.
Yes, Nigerian. Yes.
And I don't know how to work
how you would have survived.
I would have dropped out of
I
am sure. I am sure. So eventually, because I didn't have physics, they have to put me in microbiology because microbiology takes P7 in physics. But a lot of us that were in microbiology, we had P's in physics. Definitely, we did physics in an 100 level, 2 semesters, but we were able to survive it in a way. But that was how I read microbiology. It was in the course of reading the course I understood that, oh, it's actually a complementary course to medicine. You can actually still be in the medical science world, and so my interest was, let me just stay within that sphere. I could actually work in the hospital, maybe as a lab technician or become a lab scientist or anything else. But it didn't actually end up that way anyway. But that was how I got to read microbiology.
Wow. That's a long challenge. Me, I also had issues with my physics. I think I had written WAEC. I didn't write twice. I wrote WAEC, wrote GC, and physics is not physics. And interesting, that's the story for another day. Maybe perhaps it's a very personal story. My WAEC physics, I had a very awkward the day of our practical. I had an emotionally strenuous that I almost missed my practical, and so that kind of upset my physics. And I learned physics when I now did not need physics. I learned physics. Incidentally, I did pre-degree also in University of Abuja called the remedial.
Okay.
So I did that, and that was when I gave my life to Christ. That was when I realized once more that I was like really book smart. And that was when I knew that, oh, that you could read this thing. But truly, if the foundation is destroyed in science, I forget it.
Yeah,
Forget it.
it's gone.
Your struggle will struggle. But it's not forgetting that nothing can happen. You can, if you sit down with textbook and methodologically go from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3 to chapter 4, get somebody who understands this thing and ask, okay, oh, this part now is what, how did this,
Yeah.
because the physics formulas just
I mean,
reappear.
that's the problem I had with physics.
Physics
The
is-
formulas. You know, if we were to like explain some of these concepts, I know them. And I mean, I even see them in application in real life every day. When it comes to you remembering those formulas or deriving those formulas to arrive at some certain answers, that's where the problem comes for me. But you know, talking about other things that are there, maybe the theoretical aspects, and me now, I'm good because it's just to read and remember, which is something I love to do.
Oh, that's interesting. So, um, looking at for young people today, for younger people today, what would you say to a young person, maybe a 13, 12 year old who is in JS, or even 10 years who is in JS1? What do you think would be the greatest marker for self-awareness and and not rigmaroling like a lot of us?
Yeah, okay. So the major thing for self-awareness is actually information. Unfortunately, we don't have lots of that flying around. What I mean is this. Take for example, when I was growing up, there were certain professions that were like the in thing. Everybody wanted to be in those professions because we felt, and our parents too felt, that those were the professions. But there were other professions that would have actually been good for us if we had known. For example, if I had maybe had someone tell me about how journalism or the media world could actually fit my personality, fit my interests, and how I could make a career out of it, it would have helped me greatly. So I think the most important thing is that information. A young person must have information at their disposal by every means possible. What I mean is, look out for what can be possible. Look out for what is happening. You are only going to make decisions based on the information you have. So if you don't have that info, you are already at a disadvantage. In order for you not to be at a disadvantage, gather as much information as you can about not just your immediate environment, but also about the larger world. Many of us grew up in, I wouldn't say rural areas. I've been privileged to grow up in state capitals, but we are not much better than our colleagues who grew up in rural areas in terms of information and what we do with it. Why? Because we don't know, or we didn't know, that that's the most important thing for us going forward. So we were just like all our other brothers and sisters growing up anywhere else. And whereas living in the capital is supposed to expose us to much more opportunities for us to make decisions than other people. So I would say for a young person, let's say somebody who's 10, just invest yourself in your work. Read widely.
So let me
read.
ask, so that we get in there. What are practical ways? But I'm going to still talk about some age ranges. So for some of you here who are way beyond 10, 14, we are still going to get there. So how can a 10-year-old actually prepare himself or herself for? And before I let you answer, you said something which is very important. You know, it's sad. It's funny that it's not commonsensical. What we do as adults, right? Where we say that a course is not marketable or whatever, and you don't know what is going to happen in the next 5 years. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So what you think doesn't make any sense today can all of a sudden become
the
for example, people who are gamers. When we were younger, it was people who were not going anywhere. They would just sit down and playing game. See I Show Speed today. He talks to presidents of the world. What happened? He played games and streamed. Look at people who made videos. Look at people who dance. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've also had I've had an experience who, like, I mean, Kafi became Kafi Sapphire, the one who won
the dancer.
Yes, who won the Guinness Book of Record and kind of put us on the map when it came to dance and all of these things, endurance dance, and she became a national treasure with that same thing that my dad said that he cannot
allow his
son to begin to explain. And funnily enough, that period I knew Kafi was one of the most advanced instructor for High School Musical West Africa. And so we were seeing her and seeing this. Kelly Mansos was our voice coach. Emeka Anyalogu was our acting coach.
Wow.
We had, so you were literally with these people, right? For almost 6 months, seeing them every day. But you come and no matter what they are trying to tell you that this is the way, go there in. Your parents are telling you that
never,
you cannot. So let's get back to, for the people who are terribly young, how can they, by gathering information, what would you suggest?
So for those who are maybe in the junior secondary school /senior, I think for junior secondary school, I would just say, watch out for the things that pique your interest. Watch out for the things that you love to do. Watch out for the things that you don't eat and that thing is before you that you're interested in it. Don't let it go all out. I mean, don't let it die. Just still hold it with you. It could be, it may not be, but just keep that interest alive. That thing can be helpful.
Let me ask you a question, because a lot of them I've asked, they say it's pressing phone or playing games. Does that happen?
Yeah, it does. See, the truth is, phones are now like the libraries.
Okay.
And now like game houses we used to go to nowadays. So it depends on how they see it. If of course play games, yeah, but are you playing games to become a gamer or to just while away the time? I mean, that's where it becomes serious. But I would have preferred that we also look at some real world skills also, because like you mentioned, that could evolve tomorrow and it doesn't really stand anymore. That's why I said just still hold it, whatever it is that you are interested in, but keep it with you till you have better information, which will be anytime you are in your senior secondary going towards your university years. By then you should be at least know a general direction of where you are going. You may not be able to pinpoint exactly what you want to do with your life yet at that age. Why? Because your options are still, large. You could still pick this. Some people are quite good. For example, why did I go to science class? Because I wasn't really that prize-winning, very brilliant guy, but I was doing well into, all my subjects in JSS3 was good. I was fine. I was good. So we felt it was just natural to go to science class for the, so you could be good at doing many things, but just pay attention to the ones that you really, really want to further. Let me give you an example of a friend who were mates in school at Unity Secondary School, Career Playbook. His name is Dr.
Unity Secondary School again.
Dr. Ole Aleche. He's in the United States now. He used to be the chairman of resident doctors at the State University Hospital a few years ago. He was an accounting student when we were in secondary school.
What?
Yes.
So by the doctor, you mean
When he
medical
was in
doctor?
commercial class, I mean.
Yes. So you
It
mean
was
by
after
this,
we left school.
by this resident doctor for especially for the young people, we are
Yes.
talking of medical doctor.
Medical doctor, resident doctor.
Not honorary doctor.
No. He's a medical doctor, straight medical doctor. He went to last week. He's a trained medical doctor. He was a commercial student in our set when we were in school. But after school, it just felt, no, this is not what I want to do. This is not the route I want to go. I want to be a doctor. And he went back, started to read science subjects, physics, chemistry, and the rest. Sat for another while, passed those subjects, took JAM, passed, and went for medicine. I mean, you know, if you go for medicine, you have to score high in JAM, and he did. After finishing studying accounting and all of that, I knew another person who combined 2 degrees at the same time. He was doing psychology on one side, he was doing accounting on another side in 2 different schools simultaneously. Now, why did I mention these 2 cases? I'm mentioning them because sometimes we may have already been on the track before we realize that, no, this is not how this is not where I want to go. My interest or what I think will sell tomorrow is not in this track. It's never late to change tracks. Because if you don't make that decision early enough, you pay more for it later. Some of us were lucky. I mean, I count myself blessed to have been able to find my way back to the media, where I think is my forte. What if I had not? What if I had ended up in another career? What if I had ended up doing something else? I don't know what would have happened, but you know, not everybody will also have that kind of break to be able to come back to what they are built for, they are made for. Because the bottom line is this: we all have individual personalities and you know, all these things you like to do, things you don't like to do. I'm an indoor person, right? I could be on my own for a whole day. My mom told me that when I was young, she had no problem raising me as a toddler. Why? Because once she just picked some toys and put them around me, she could go about her duties and do other things. I will not disturb her. I don't have any problem with people staying with me. I can stay by myself. And this is very evident in my life. I mean, I could be indoors for a whole week. I don't really like going out except it's absolutely necessary. These are personal traits that are good for my kind of career, because it helps me to really think, to plan, to strategize, to work. If you're working in the media, especially in the area where I work, you must be able to work on your own for long hours without being supervised or, you know, without anybody, without you needing human intervention. Let me put it that way. Because I remember when I was still actively running, I mean, as a duty continuity announcer, I could be on my shifts throughout without stepping out of the studio, and I'm fine. I don't even want you to come around to come and distract me and disturb me from my work. So all these personality traits are pointers to what can help us. Some people have steady hands. They are so meticulous. You could be a surgeon. I mean, these are the things. Some people, they have an
Or
eye,
you could even be a sculptor.
or a sculptor. You could be good with art. Some people have an eye to spot errors. They are very detailed. You could be maybe somebody like an auditor. Your mind works differently. Some people, their mind works in advance. You could be a project manager.
Like me.
You could see problems ahead of time, and you're like, yeah, I told you. Pay attention to those things. What you can do is to build a career around your strengths instead of trying to force yourself into a career. What I've seen is that, of course, there are some careers we think are high sale careers, but the trick is, if you know how to sell your market, you can make money from any career. It's just about knowing how to put your service before those that need that service, or how to make sure that those that need what you are offering come in contact with you. And why am I stressing this, paying attention to yourself, is that when you are in that sphere, you will never feel as if you are working. You will just be enjoying your life. It's like somebody playing football, and he loves to play football, and then he gets signed by a big team and is earning money. He will still play football nonetheless. He will still enjoy himself, and he will still earn good money. And that's that can be replicated in different industries at different levels. So that's for those who are in secondary school. Be exposed, like use the phone properly.
So can we say have conversations with people who have gone ahead of you? Because that's very important.
I mean,
Pastor Lawrence will say something from a book that we read. I think in now. You don't know what you don't know.
and that is truth. That's the truth. Now, having conversation with those who have gone ahead is very key because they can help you to navigate some tough choices, some tough decisions, because they have gone through that road before. They can see the things that you may not see as a young person. In fact, I used to say this, that there is no point traveling the road for 40 years that leads nowhere. If you are on a path that leads nowhere and somebody is coming back from that path and is telling you that path leads nowhere, I mean, it's only common sense for you to know, okay, let me try another path. So, but here is the caveat. The young people do not want to talk to those who have gone ahead. Why? Because they think that they can figure it out themselves. See, that adventurous spirit also carries into all these kind of decisions, thinking that I can figure it out, I know what I'm doing, I know what to do. Whereas most of the times it's just enthusiasm without solid information to back it up, which almost always ends up in a disaster. But I want to flip the coin here, that those who have also gone ahead must make conscious efforts to talk to these young ones, because at the end of the day, they don't know their left from their right, and they are easily influenced by things they see, by what is trending. And me and you know that what is trending is just is feeble.
It's just like chaff. It's going to pass.
It's going to pass. So if they are swayed by what is passing, when that thing passes, they pass away with that thing too. We can actually help them to be grounded in what is important, but we have to make deliberate efforts to make that happen. Otherwise, young people do not want to be, like subservient to somebody and say, okay, please come and show me. No, they rather make their mistakes and say they learn from the mistake. But sometimes it's better to learn from others' mistakes so that you don't repeat those mistakes and makes your journey faster and you get to where you're going.
So this is great. This is that, and this is why we are doing what we are doing, and this is the whole essence of the career playbook, because conversations like this have to be had, and people have to start talking about it. And I don't want to sit on ideas for a whole lot longer. One of the things I would also as some kind of balance is that it's possible too for a young person to see something where a lot of old people may not comprehend that is possible. So there's still a lot of balance. However, one of the things that for my life, for example, I have seen that in everything that someone who has gone ahead has said to you, there are always things to learn.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that you must follow their words,
but it's all part of the process. Let me give an example what you just mentioned, and it happened to my son. And the young man just finished, as at the time we are having this conversation, just finished writing his wife. He's not seeing the wife result. And when he was preparing for that exam, I think, so there's this extra lesson he does. And then one of the days he went for that lesson, I think the owner of that school where they are having the lesson, it's not the school he attends, came to the class and said, was asking them what career path they want to choose, what do you want to do? And the guy stood up and said he wants to be an animator. And the man laughed and made jest of him, like, what did he do?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that what did he do to convince his parents to allow him to want to choose that path? Like wow. he felt that path does not
out of
anywhere
reach for Africa. I think that's the major challenge. Like, just feel that it's out of reach. So we don't have African animators, and so we don't have a lot of.
So and the guy was very distraught. He cried, he came home, told myself and the mom and all of that. We just told him, don't worry. You said that's what you want to do, and we are supporting you because we know that it's a right decision. If I had suspected that it's not good for you, I would have told you there and then, no, go think of something else, because I wouldn't be there to see you go in the wrong road when I'm also even going to be responsible for paying you through school. And I know animation and all of these courses are very expensive and whatever. You may not even have schools running those courses in Nigeria as well right now. But here is where I'm going. That adult was speaking from where his own information ended. But me as the father, I have far more information at my disposal than him. I know what animators do. I know the need for animations in the future, even in the present. I know how important they are in the scheme of things because the skill set is applicable to every sphere of life, including medicine, including environment, including solving societal problems. I mean, it's not just about sitting at a computer. And I know all of this because of my own background and exposure. But these particular adults do not know that because wherever is coming from, it didn't have those kind of information and exposure. So like you said, when adults talk, it's only fair for you to pick what they are saying and examine it critically and be able to make your decisions from it. The only person, that should force you to go a route should be yourself. You should give other people opportunity to talk because in conversations you can pick, common sense, pick lessons from what people are saying, and then you put all of that together, and then you're able to arrive at a good decision. But you ultimately will be the one to decide, because one good thing is this: when you decide to do something, you will be happy doing it until you find the result you are looking for. But if you don't have joy in something and you are forced to do it, you may not do it very well. I have an example. Let me tell you this example. A friend also, we went to the same secondary school together in year, my junior. His name is Ikere Unity Secondary School, Ikere Ekiti.
The Unity Secondary School, another shout out.
His name is Tokpe Aroge. Now, he's a medical doctor. But, let me say, he read medicine, but he's a farmer. When he finished secondary school, he told his dad, I want to be a farmer. The father said, over my dead body. The father was a teacher, was one of our teachers in the secondary school. So you couldn't imagine his son, his first son being a farmer.
Okay, similar situation.
So the guy was brilliant. He's a brilliant chap, very book smart. So eventually, because of the pressure from the dad, he read medicine at the University of Ilorin. Finished, did his housemanship, West African College of Surgeons, whatever else he needed to be qualified as a practicing doctor with Ekiti State government, but he resigned that job to go fully into farming. He's one of the biggest farmers in Nigeria today. He got, from way back, he got a facility from African Development Bank. He got one from the French Embassy. These were the times when $1.4 million was a lot of money. And these were his factory is at Ore, those days. He's doing quite well on the African scene and all of that. Why did I say that? He went after what he wanted, but his father, really made sure he read something that the father wanted because of what the father thought would be the way forward, in the future for him. So that's why I'm just saying that for every young person, if you are doing what you want to do, you'll be happy doing it more than if someone else is just like saying, okay, go do this, and you don't really see any reason why you should do it. So what I'm trying to emphasize is when you are being, just like the way you are listening to these charts now, begin to make up your mind about some things. Begin to figure out how you want to go about your own journey. And the moment you arrive at decisions, except you come across a stronger argument, stick with your plan and be happy pursuing that route. But the moment you come against a stronger argument, our advice is back out. Let me give you an example. If somebody says today and comes up and says, I want to go to school to study to become a private secretary, I will tell you not to do that. Do you know why? Because that particular job description is disappearing. Everything that makes a private secretary good is being taken over by other kinds of jobs. For example, they used to know how to type very fast. They used to know how to edit documents, how to write letters, how to schedule appointments, how to keep records. All of these are being done by every individual themselves now without any input from anybody. So if you now say you want to go pursue a line of career that is already going out of the market, you are shooting yourself in the leg. So when you hear
Or a typewriter repair.
or a typewriter repairer, I mean, you will definitely be you'll definitely be out of job in no time. So you need to also keeping a tab on whatever industry you are interested in, so that you don't get swept aside by being fixated on a particular course and said until I read this course. And whereas things have changed, and because the Nigerian education system is not innovative enough to come up with new courses that are relevant to what is going on. We still try to maintain the same courses from way back that those schools were founded with. Whereas every day things are changing, and some of these courses are supposed to either have been merged or even completely scrapped, so that people can study courses that are relevant to skills that they need for whatever it is that they are trying to study.
So this is great. Just a whole lot to buy into. Let's talk about people who are a bit older, finished WAEC university. What do you say to them that masters can make that career? Not necessarily choosing, for if you were to do it all over again with what you know now, if you were a student in 2026 as well, what would you?
Okay, so like I said, some of us were lucky to be able to come back to doing what we think God wants us to do. My journey into the media started in my university days, and let me just make it very brief, because I wear many caps. I'm a graphics artist. I know how to use the computer to make designs. I'm a printer. I'm a publisher. I'm a public speaker. I MC events. I write. I can produce programs, present programs. I'm a media manager. I do all of those. But all of this started from one thing I did when I was in the university. I was a member of a 5-man fellowship. So when I joined, we were 5. When people graduate, some new people come in. When they were now to choose a new set of executives, I don't know how they decided that I should be the secretary of the fellowship. I don't know, but I tell you that was the biggest turning point in my life. And
you can give a shout out to the fellowship.
Yeah, the name of the fellowship is Sanctuary of Peace Students Outreach Ministries. We call it SOPSOM. It's
shout out to
State University in Abeokuta.
Is it still
SOPSOM? No, still operating.
Oh, that's great.
SOPSOM.
People we need to get people from SOPSOM to listen to this.
Yeah. SOPSOM Exu, shout out to you. I'm still in touch with the fellowship anyway.
Oh, that's great.
Many years after. Now, so what happened was, when I became the secretary, like I told you, I never had any intent of doing media or anything like that. But I know that as secretary of the fellowship, you are more like the person that takes the announcement. You are more like the program coordinator, like the MC for programs. So, and I have seen how people do programs, MC programs around campus and fellowships. And when it was my turn, because we used to hold fellowships in lecture theatre, so different fellowships using different classrooms. So I'm in our own classroom, in our own fellowship, but my ears are not listening to what whoever is upstage is saying. I'm thinking of what I'm going to say next. Because by the time I have to go up next, I have to say something that will make people maybe hear me or pay attention to what I'm saying. And I'm an introvert. I don't really like standing before people. I like to write and be behind the scene, that kind of thing. But here is the catch. It was in doing that I began to become good at MCing events. So if I go for an event on campus, I don't go there to go and enjoy the music or whatever they're doing. I want to go and watch the guy who's MCing the event. I will take notes. When I come to our fellowship on Sunday, I will say some of those things that guy said.
Or maybe act like
him, use some of his jokes, use some of the expressions. By and by, the thing just became a part of me. I now know how to anchor events. I now know how to plan events. I now know how to organize programs. All of those came within the ambit of those 3 years I served as the Secretary General of our fellowship. Because beyond the short of our fellowship, I served also at the national level, covering a few other campuses as time went on. But this is where I'm going. I want to talk about the two things some of the things I mentioned that I'm doing, how I got into them to help those who either are finishing school, are still in university, or have graduated. I know we want to do a program, we do flyers, we print flyers, and then we share and so invite people. And also that there are some fellowships, their flyers used to be fine, but our flyer just did somehow. What did they happen now? So I had to investigate, get the number of the guy that did the one I saw that I loved. And I called the guy, and he said he's based in Akure in Ondo State. And we are in Ado-Ekiti State. What do? I traveled to Akure to find this guy.
Are you serious?
Yes. When we wanted to have another program, I went to Akure, met him, spoke with him what we wanted to do. I don't know what came upon him. He just said I should follow him. He took me to the computer center where they were designing. And right before me, they designed our flyer. From there, I was still following him. Whatever they did, I didn't know the details of what they did, but I followed him to another place. He collected something there. That was when I knew that was where they went to make the plates. And then I followed him again to where they were running the impression. My brother, that was the last time I patronized him. Because the next time we wanted to do an event that needed flyers, I just went to all those places he took me to initially. And
so you still
did
left
those
Ado
things.
again, went back
to Akure. Because I didn't know anybody doing it in Ado.
Okay.
So, and then I now saw the process that, okay, the first thing you do is you design it on the computer, you print out the film, we call it laser, the laser film, then somebody else transfers it onto the lithographic plate, then you take the plates to the operator who will run the lithographic machine. We used to call the machine 201, it's a small machine, who will run the 201, then you go and buy paper here, they will go and cut it here. When you are done running it, you go and trim it here, and that's how it comes out fine. Okay. I never had intention that I was going to make money out of that thing. I just wanted to make sure that our fellowships flyers are also fine. And then we save some money because, of course, by the time I did it the second time, it was cheaper than because, of course, it will put a markup for its own profit. So that was how I now began to understand how these things are.
And a lot of people in Ado now began to reach out to you to do their own flyer.
Let me just let me get to that part in just a moment. So by the time I was finishing school, I was close to the senior pastor of our church, the fellowship of the church where I attend, Sanctuary of Peace, Church of God in Christ. Shout out to my pastor, Bishop Dr. Bolufam.
Yeah, shout out to your pastor. All of you must listen to this and share to as many young people as you were, because I mean, these are lived experiences. I don't think you can buy. That's
how I got to doing this media profession and all of these things I'm doing. So because of that skill set that I now have in how to get flyers done, I just transferred the skill set to doing flyers for the church. So if the church wants to have a program, there used to be somebody that does it, but he left Ado. I think he got a job in Lagos. He was a student in Federal Polytechnic. When he finished, he left Ado. So there was a vacuum in that office at the headquarters church. So I just naturally stepped in because I have a little idea of what happens there. And I began to do it for the church. I became the de facto printer for the church. The church does magazines yearly and all of that. I became the editor of that magazine, just fresh out of school.
Wow.
Now, I transfer that, now that my pastor has pastor friends.
Okay.
When some of them saw our
the
materials in church, they were like, this thing is good. I said, it's he that did it now. They called me. I want to do this now. I still remember a church, I forgot the name of the church now in Okela area. Reverend F.N. Oluwashike is the name of that.
Okay, shout out to Reverend.
So I did for their church for a long time. They used to have this monthly bulletin. I did for them for a long time. That their monthly bulletin.
I also made money from it.
Oh, okay. So I have a bias on that. I don't really
charge
churches. Even till now, I don't charge churches. But of course, I make money from printing from other sources because it's the same skill set. I just decided not to be charging churches. Even when I started my company, I made it a policy. We don't charge churches. We just take an honorarium or put a little service charge on whatever we're doing to check it so that we can keep running. But this is where, let me just cut the story because it's long, but let me just cut to the chase.
Okay.
The same thing happened in the media. Don't forget I said I became very good at anchoring programs. That also translates to why I run all big events. I don't have stage fright and I do well. But this is the turning point for me that really made me do well on radio. One day in my hostel, we called the place Iworoko Ekiti. So in one of the rooms, in my hostel, there is this lady, her name is Peju. I can't remember her surname, but Peju. She has this Walkman that has a recording capability with cassette inside. So we were speaking one day, we were just talking, and I was recording our conversation. We were just talking this thing because she's also a Christian. She listens to messages a lot, so she always has that Walkman. So after our chat, I just rewound the tape and played it back. I had my voice. I was shocked. I was like, so this is what people hear when I talk, and they have not come to beat me up.
Yeah.
My accent, I had tonal inflection, everything was sounding odd in my ears. I didn't like what I was hearing. I was like, wow. And now that I really need to improve how I speak. Okay. And that was how I began to practice speaking in some certain ways. A few years down the line, the opportunity to be on radio came. And it was the build-up of all of these skills that put me on radio. Straight up, the first time I came into the radio station, I was to present a program. That was in 2007, either July or September of 2007. Now, this is why I said all of this. All of those skills came by volunteering. That was how I knew where my interests were originally. It was after then I now remember that I've always been interested in radio. I've always been interested in writing. I've always been interested in this. Look at where all of these skills now came up. Because I volunteered. When you are in school or you are freshly out of school, of course, to chase the money is very key. But if you have opportunities to give your skills for free, don't hold back. Nobody knows what you can do until they have seen you do it. And nobody will pay you for a skill they have not seen you exhibit. I mean, if I've never seen you do something, it is not likely I'm going to put my money in your hands for you to do that thing for me. You can't convince me except you show me something you have done. How do you get this experience? How do you show what you have done? Volunteer. Some young people don't like this thing because they think every skill must be paid for. I can't be working and somebody is getting the money. Okay, well done. When I came into Radio Nigeria, I worked for 2 years without being paid because they were not recruiting at that time. But I was getting money from my printing business to fund my radio lifestyle because I have to go to the radio station. I have to go for my shifts. I have to go for meetings. I have to go for trainings on my own purse from the money I'm making from printing jobs. But after 2 years, there was an opportunity to recruit and I was picking up. And I mean, the rest, like they say, is history. So, young people, for you to know what you can do, you have to try to do something. You have to put your heart in something and do it. And do it as if you can do it for free. It is what you can do for free that earns you most money. All of the things I said I am doing.
This is a quote. It is what you can do for free that earns you.
All of these things I said I'm doing, I can do any of them for free. I don't have to be paid for them because I love to do them. Today alone, I have done design today. Of course, paid for. I have also done free design today also. This same today. I have done voiceovers for free for people. I can't remember how many. And I have done voiceovers and I've been paid heavily for it. I have done video edits for people for free. I can't count how many hours. And I've been paid heavily for editing just one minute video. What I got from that 1 minute video was like my whole salary for a whole month. So it's all in how you can express what you can do. When you are expressing what you can do, you will know where you will make money. You will know how to deploy those skills to get money. Because at the end of the day, nobody will pay you for what you have not done. They will only pay for what you have done. So you have to put yourself out there. If you have any skill set, make sure that people know you have the skill set. Instead of just scrolling TikTok and watching Facebook reels, put yourself on the map. Do some things to show that you can do this thing. That's when you begin to get people to really come in and they come and do this for us and do this for us. And whatever you know how to do, please know how to do it very well.
This is huge. So can we say that from 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 the point where you are done with your WIEC and while you're in school, you should volunteer. So you should go out to work in places
Start
that
volunteering.
align with your
That align with your interest.
because that's very important.
Start
That's
volunteering.
the caveat.
Start volunteering. You will see more opportunities. Internships are also good. If you have opportunity of internships, do. You know, see, one thing that people who are also in that category should also try to do is to, get into the mentoring space. Get somebody in that field who is already doing that thing and try to understand.
I have a very interesting take on mentoring. I believe so strongly that the mentee doesn't choose the mentor. The mentor chooses the mentee. However, there's an adage that says the child that raises up his hand
is the one they will carry over. It's
So
true. You have to put yourself
You
where
have to
the
put yourself
mentor
where
can
the
even
mentor-
consider mentoring you.
Yeah.
That's true.
So while it's the mentor's prerogative totally, because
Yeah.
what I believe mentoring is someone who has gone way ahead of you, who doesn't know you anything.
Yeah. Taking
Their integrity
on you. Yeah.
and ensuring that
Yeah.
they are bringing you into rooms that I didn't even know that existed.
Let me even put it this way. Let's assume that you cannot even be mentored by some people. You can understudy them. For example, I love Oyedokun. I've forgotten his first name now. He used to present on TBN. Victor Oyedokun. I love him. I've never met him one-on-one, but do you know why I love him? He's a Christian in the media space, and he grew to become the communications man for African Development Bank. For me, it's a big deal, and he's unashamedly a Christian. And it's one of the people I understudy. I look at the trajectory of his life, of what he's doing, and I'm trying to also see if I could try to attain to some of those levels. So there are people like that you watch what they are doing. In fact, one of the things they told us during my training in the media is, if you want to be good at this job, you have to imitate somebody. There is nothing new you are coming to do. Whatever it is that you think you are coming to do, somebody else is doing it already or has done it before. You only need to do it in your own era, in your own way. So, in fact, they said it so much that you can even, because in English you have transcriptions, pronunciations, all of this can be complex. But you don't even need to understand all of these things. I can try to speak like you. Like, speak exactly as you are speaking. It's in doing that I find my own voice. That's what they teach us. And it happens like that also in other fields. I may not be able to replicate exactly what you are doing, but in trying to replicate, I find my own voice. So when you're understudying somebody, you may not end up being like them, but you will have picked something from them that will help you in your own career path.
Okay, sir. So this is well over an hour of us talking. These conversations are just mind blowing, and it's a lot of work. I believe with these few points of ours that a lot of people, regardless, would have begun to look at themselves and began to actually ask themselves, what am I in the right career path and all of those things. I'll just end by saying that the goal of life is not to get married and have children and babies. There's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more that we are made for. We have to solve problems. Problem solving is a major.
That's the major thing. Solve problems.
Part of life. So
look for a problem and solve it.
Your career trajectory and solving problems.
Even till now, if you don't solve problems, you become sidetracked. People will forget that you exist because there are other people who will solve their problems, and people will gear towards somebody who's solving their problems than you that you're just there trying to earn a living. People that make it big are those who solve big problems.
That's another quote. People that make it big
are those who solve big problems. And let me just I want to just say this because I know we're already overshooting the time. The ability to evolve is key. All of these things I said I can do were not skills I learned one day, but I was evolving as opportunities were coming. I was evolving as opportunities were coming. I was evolving. Till now, I'm still evolving because I find myself now that the skill set that I have some of those skill sets are being overtaken by AI. I'll give you an example. There is a particular ministry, a Christian ministry that I do designs for free. I don't even take money from them because when I saw their designs, I didn't like it, and I told the pastor, "Don't worry, I'll handle your design." But recently, the pastor has been doing his designs himself using AI. So assuming that I had been charging him, I would have lost that client.
That's
So, but I also see that there are still problems in the church space that needs to be solved. And I'm already thinking, how do I solve this problem with the tools that are available and with the skill set that I have? That if this, let's say graphics, for example, is no longer paying, how do I continue to solve relevant problems in that space and remain relevant? Which is what I'm doing right now. I'm more or less transitioning. I've done this transition like 2 or 3 times in the past, so I'm not really. I'm not afraid to do it again and again. Just study what you know how to do, then study how to apply it. The specifics may change, but you are not changing. Your skill set is still your skill set. What you know, you know. What you understand, you understand. If you need to get more training, do. If you need to get more exposure, do. But please keep evolving. Keep evolving. You will emerge at the other side a far better version of you than you started with.
Thank you. So thank you so much. We'll end with keep evolving. You are not. You have the permission to change. You have the permission to grow. You have the permission to seek out for growth. You have the permission to try new things. I mean, this whole episode is a new thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's even personally.
It's part of evolving.
It's part of evolving because I have to begin to quote and unquote produce my own shows now and actually just ensure that the problems I'm seeing in the world, I'm not just seeing them, I am attempting to solve, especially those ones that I'm passionate about. So thank you for listening, and do well to subscribe, do well to drop your comments. We hope to read, we hope to, if you are from Ikere,
Ikere Ekiti.
Ikere Ekiti in Ekiti, please rep your place. Go and write the different things. I mean, bring back those fond memories. And if you are there today, it would be great. Also, if you can post pictures in the comments of the whole place and all of that. So thank you, and God bless you. Until next week, see you again in the Career Playbook. We'll have someone else who also, and we'll do our best to get even people who are doing what they studied. So it will not look like we are advocating for you doing something.
I mean,
something that
you still get to study in the field. I mean, we didn't get there, but anyway, it's good.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and I mean, enjoy the rest of your day.